Carol, we almost have a quorum of the Democrats in the Senate here to wish you well tonight. We wish we could be there. One of the things you're going to learn is that time schedules are very uncertain in the United States Senate, and we're in session tonight, as is the House. I've asked a few of my colleagues to say a word or two, and I'm going to call on them not in the order of seniority, but in the order of appearance here. And the first is Chuck Robb, who heads the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee and has been very helpful, as you know, Carol, in the campaign out there. Chuck Robb.
Thank you, Paul. I'm delighted to bring greetings from the federal city to all of you who are gathered in the Windy City. Carol, you've managed to bring some real excitement to the campaign this year. We're looking forward to your becoming a member of this body. We're all very much enthused, and we thank all of those who've made it possible for you to come and attend.
And you'll notice that Chuck looks much better in a bow tie than he ordinarily does here. We suffered the loss not too long ago of a distinguished senator from North Dakota. And the governor of North Dakota, in his wisdom, chose as his successor to serve temporarily in the United States Senate his widow. Senator Jocelyn Burdick, we're very pleased to have you here.
It's a privilege to be here, Carol, and I'm so excited about the prospect of your coming to Washington. You will do a wonderful job, and we need more women in the United States Senate, and it will be wonderful to have your expertise here. Wish you well. Thank you.
And I don't know if you could see it, but she was wearing a Carol Mosely-Braun button there. A new member of the Senate and an active, vigorous member of the Senate is Senator Paul Wellstone from Minnesota.
Thanks, Paul. Hello, Carol, and everybody there that's supporting you in this campaign. It's the pricklings in my fingertips. We're going to win the White House. There's going to be a resurgence of activism in this country. It's going to be a progressive agenda. It's going to be opportunities for people. And the state of Illinois is going to elect an African-American woman who's destined to be a great senator in the United States. Looking forward to having you here.
We can almost hear those cheers out here for Paul Wellstone. Now, I'm not sure who came next, but I'll just who it?
Alan Cranston.
Alan Cranston, our distinguished colleague from California who has served the cause of world peace and so many other humanitarian causes that you believe in strongly, Carol. My colleague, Alan Cranston.
Carol, we love the campaign you've waged. We know you will be a United States Senator. We know you will be a great one. Let me talk to all the people there with you in Chicago who are working for you. Please do everything you can. Turn out every vote, knock on every door, pull out everybody and tell the people of the great qualities of Carol, who can bring change and dynamism and a great stance on the issues to the nation and to the world. We're depending on you to see to it that she's here.
I'm going to digress from the usual order because the Senate Majority Leader has left the floor and come over to join us. Senator George Mitchell, our hard-working Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Paul. To all of you out there in Illinois, this is one half of what will be a very effective team for the people of Illinois and the country when you send Carol Mosely-Braun here next January. We look forward to having her as an effective, articulate legislator, experienced in the legislative process through her service in the Illinois legislature, knowing the problems of the people of Chicago, downstate, the medium-sized cities in Illinois, someone who will truly represent Illinois in the effective fashion which they've become accustomed to, with Paul Simon, Alan Dixon now, and a long record of great United States senators. And I also ask you to think about the historic nature of Carol Mosely-Braun's election. 132 years ago, Illinois sent Abraham Lincoln to Washington, and his election led to the greatest conflict and one of the most momentous changes in our nation's history. His work continues today and Carol Mosely-Braun's election as the first African-American woman ever to serve in the United States Senate will be just as historic. Thank you for what you're doing. Work hard, and don't forget, Illinois, we're counting on you to elect Bill Clinton and Al Gore, too. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, George. And it would be appropriate for the land of Lincoln to be the first state to elect an African-American woman. I can't help but recall also with George Mitchell here, you're doing much better than I did 2 years ago. 2 years ago, George Mitchell and some of the people here with me were standing out in the rain to give a message to a fundraiser for me that I couldn't make, only the link didn't work and we didn't get across. But so you're doing much better, Carol, than I did. Let me call on a courageous, fighting United States Senator who is, well, he is one of the giants in the United States Senate. I'm proud to be his colleague, Senator Howard Metzenbaum.
Thank you, Paul, and to you, Carol Mosely-Braun, we're looking forward to your coming to the United States Senate. We've got a seat warmed up for you. But I want to talk to those people who are out there because there's a feeling that your election is won. And I just want to say a word of caution. The election isn't won, and it won't be won until every vote is in, and it's important that those of you who are assembled there this evening recognize that the ball game's not over until the last out, and in this instance, until the last vote is counted. I can't urge you strongly enough to put on that extra push. Don't take anything for granted. Get your neighbors and your cousins and your uncles and your brothers and everybody else to get to those polls, rain or shine. We want Carol Mosely-Braun in the United States Senate, and unless you turn out every vote, I'm not certain she'll be here. I don't accept the polls. We want her. Don't let her down. Don't let America down. We need you, Carol.
Thank you, Howard. From the state of Nebraska comes a senator who flies through Illinois all the time to get to Nebraska, and you will see him on the plains regularly, Carol. A distinguished senator who has contributed in many areas, the armed forces, agriculture, other areas, Senator Jim Exon of Nebraska.
Carol, I wish you the best. I know you're going to win out there, but we want to win big, and we want to pull Bill Clinton through on your coattails. I'm going to lay it on the line here tonight. There's been some very nice remarks by my distinguished colleagues, but I'm ready to make a sacrifice if the people of Illinois will send you here with a big whopping majority. All of my life, my first love other than my wife and family have been the Nebraska Cornhuskers and the St. Louis Cardinals. But if the people of Illinois send you here, I promise that half of the time I will root for the Chicago Cubs, and then let's not forget downstate. I'll root the other half of the time for my beloved St. Louis Cardinals. Give them everything you've got out there, and we're looking forward to welcoming you here next January.
And we could hear the boos when you said St. Louis Cardinals all the way back here. A member from Michigan who has been a creative, responsible member of the United States Senate, Senator Carl Levin.
Carol, we need you here in Washington. We need the perspective that you bring. We need the commitment which you've shown. We need the diversity that you represent, and we need your vote. A lot of the votes around here are very, very tight. We lost one just last Saturday for states like Illinois and Michigan when the administration opposed a bill important to our states, and we lost it by one vote. Illinois knows a lot about one vote. You made history in 1960 when by one vote per precinct in Illinois, you gave us John Kennedy. We need Carol Mosely-Braun here. Do it if you can by more than one vote per precinct, but in any event, do it for all of us.
A senator from New Jersey I taught how to play basketball. No, that's not quite accurate. Bill Bradely is a senator from New Jersey who has contributed in the Finance Committee, who has been interested in seeing that we have the right priorities in this nation, who has done the homework in terms of foreign affairs, as have few members of either the House or the Senate. Senator Bill Bradely.
How you doing, Carol? Hello to all the friends of Carol. I think that Jim Exon hit the right tone, except he was talking about a ball that was a little too small. Carol, you and I both know the Bulls are going to repeat, and you'll be right there. It's important to echo what Howard Metzenbaum said. The United States Senate needs you, Carol. America needs you in the United States Senate. The people of Illinois have a real opportunity to make history. But the race isn't over. We know that President Bush is going to pour millions of dollars into Illinois in negative advertising. We know that your opponent is already going heavily negative, and this will increase. That means that all those who are there have to redouble their effort, make a bigger effort in the remaining month of this campaign, give Carol the means to get her story across to all the people of Illinois, and then you will make history, and the United States Senate will be a better place because you have made history by giving us Carol Mosely-Braun.
I have to lower this microphone a little bit here, but I won't lower it too much because the next person I am calling on is about Bill Bradley's height. What, are you a little taller? The one issue outside of the economic issue that concerns the people of the Illinois and the nation most is the health care issue. The person who has done more to lead on that issue in the United States Senate than any other member these last few years is Senator J. Rockefeller from Wisconsin, West Virginia. Jay.
That's all right, Paul. I'm used to that. Carol, we really are serious about needing you here. Being in the Congress and being in politics is sometimes considered to be a bad rap these days. I have never agreed with that. I think that public service is still one of the most honorable professions that can be pursued, and I'm very proud to be in it. One of the reasons that I like being in the Senate, and one of the reasons why I so much look forward to your being in the Senate, Carol, is that an individual senator really can make an enormous difference in what happens in public policy for all of our American states. Paul mentioned health care. I know your commitment to health care. With Bill Clinton coming in as president, we really do have a chance to perform comprehensive health care reform. But it's a very difficult subject, Carol, as you know, and it's one where your voice will be enormously needed. Let me also say what Howard Metzenbaum said. Bill Clinton is ahead now. Carol, you are ahead now. But these things don't necessarily last, particularly if those of us who care the most about you let down in any way. So for all of those several hundred who are there to contribute to your campaign and who support you because they believe in you, Carol, we have our work to do and only about 3.5 weeks in which to do it. God bless you. We really are waiting for you to join us here.
Thank you, Jay. Finally, a kindred spirit that you will feel very much at home with, Carol, is my colleague, Senator Tom Harkin, from Iowa. Tom and I were elected to the House the same year. Tom and I were elected to the Senate the same year. He's a fighter who really cares. My colleague, Senator Tom Harkin.
Paul, thank you very much. I must say, you know, when we were in the House together, I was senior to Paul Simon. We came to the Senate, and he became senior to me because even though we'd served the same amount of time, see, when you get to the Senate, they take the state that's most populous, and obviously Illinois has
much better rule than the House rules.
Much better rule than the House rules, which is alphabetical. So now he's senior to me. And now, because you're going to be elected senator from Illinois, not only is he going to be senior to me, he'll be the senior senator from Illinois. Well, I'll have to swallow my pride on that one, I guess, Paul. But I'll tell you, for all of you there this evening, I just want you to know the first time I met Carol, I was campaigning for the presidency. Well, you may not have noticed, but I did run for the presidency. Don't feel too badly. A heck of a lot of other people didn't seem to notice either. But I'll never forget the first time I met Carol in her office. She had that certain kind of quality, that spark, that kind of presence that you feel when you're around people that you know are committed, feel deeply about the issues, and care very much about people. I noticed that right away in Carol Mosely-Braun. And every time I've met her since, she's always got that great smile, that great personality, and that great presence. And so we need you here in the United States Senate. I predict not only will you win and win big, Carol, but I predict you're going to be a great force here in the United States Senate. I join with all my colleagues in asking all of you there tonight, whatever you've given tonight, double it. However hard you've worked, work even harder over the next few weeks to make sure no mistakes are made. We don't leave any stones unturned. As Alan Cranston said, knock on every door, get every vote out. We cannot take anything for granted. So please win big, and we all look forward to standing next to you next January. Thanks, Carol.
Let me just add, it is not only your personality, Carol, that is important, and you have a great personality, and that comes over on television, I'm pleased to say. But it is important, and I'm getting a signal here. All right. Let me just add, what is important about Carol is not just the personality and not just the vote that some of my colleagues have talked about, but Carol has the ability mentally to contribute a great deal, University of Chicago Law School graduate, but even more important than that, Carol has it in the heart. She cares. And that really is important in the United States Senate. I've just been signaled that my next function is to introduce John Rogers. John is heading the Finance Committee.